Alright, so here we go with chemistry lab preparation take 1. We're going in the lab to mix aqueous ionic compounds. It's going to look like this that you see here in front of you. You're going to be using something called a microwell, which is basically a miniature test tube. So here's a microwell. There are 12 little wells in this microwell. And so each little well is going to represent a reaction between 2 of these aqueous compounds. So, if we take, for example, AgNO3 and K2HPO4, we can name those compounds, silver nitrate and potassium hydrogen phosphate. We can open the bottle and in our first well we are going to put 2 drops. 2 drops. And that was of my AgNO3. Now I'm going to take 2 drops of my K2HPO4 and I add this to the same well. 1, 2. And I notice that there's a color change and some solids are forming. So here we have yellow solids forming, and we want to write that down. So in my second well here I have mixed AgNO3 with NaCl, and I get a white cloudy solid. The yellow solids are settling to the bottom from my first reaction. My white ones are pretty much filling it up right now, although over time they might settle as well. And so I want to record that. So if you notice, I've got my reactions all set up here. I've listed 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1 and 2 I have already completed. So number 3 would be the next reaction that I do, AgNO3 plus Ki. You're going to have 28 of these reactions, and you should have all of them written down as one compound plus another compound, arrow, and then leave some space so that you can record what happens. So I have mixed AgNO3 with K2HPO4 and NaCl, and so I basically need to mix 1, 2, and then I'll mix these guys. That'll make my 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th reaction. And then I'm going to be done with my AgNO3. I'm going to have 7 of these wells filled. This will be my 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th well filled. And then I won't need AgNO3 anymore. And I'll take whatever my next compound is on my list, and I'll mix it, and that will be my 8th, and my 9th, and my 10th, and my 11th, and my 12th, and my 13th, and then I'll be done with this compound, and I'll be able to take this one, and then I'll continue on combining all of these guys until every single compound has been mixed with every other compound. And when that's done, I'll have put 28 different mixtures into 28 different wells of my microwells, and I'll have recorded the results from each one, keeping track of what goes with what. So once I've done all that and I've got everything mixed and I've recorded all my observations, then I'm going to want to clean up my reactions. We don't want to throw these things down the drain. We want to put them into a container. This beaker that you see here is a waste container, so there'll be something like this in the classroom. There ends up being a little bit of difficulty because these wells are designed to allow you to tip them over without liquid coming out. So the idea is if you were to tip this, then you go, oh, and you haven't made a mess. Now, that's not to say that you can't make a mess. It's totally possible. But in order to get these chemicals out, you have to give them a bit of a shake. So we bring it over to the waste container. You're going to have to probably hold it vertically like this, and then tip it forward, and then you give it a bit of a shake. So I'm moving in this direction and then pulling away quickly, and now I have emptied those two wells. Now you don't want to stop here. We need to fill this up with water, and then we can start rinsing and dumping down the sink. If you don't rinse properly, these things get quite dirty. And dirty wells, nobody likes them because you can't see through them. So we want to make sure that we clean up properly. So to rinse my micro well, I'm going to tip it into the water, fill it with water, shake it out. Fill it with water, shake it out, fill it with water, shake it out. When I am done, it should look nice and clear. If I don't do a good job, then I might end up with something that looks like this. And then these eventually have to be thrown away if they can't be cleaned. If yours does look kind of dirty, we should have some Q-tips, and you can fit a Q-tip right in there, and that will help clean it out as well.